Most people are scrolling past space headlines, barely glancing at the quiet alerts from observatories and agencies. But high above us, beyond the familiar comfort of the planets we know, something is unfolding that isn't just unusual, it's unsettling. Two objects, one from far beyond our solar system, and another so massive it challenges the very meaning of the word comet. And both of them are behaving in ways that make astronomers stop, zoom in, and stare longer than they'd like to admit. Let's begin with 3I Atlas. Look closely. This is one of the clearest frames ever captured of it so far. Real photons, not artistic impressions. Real sky, not simulations. The faint haze wrapped around its core is the coma, glowing softly from volatile ice and dust sublimating into space. Behind it, a tail stretches like a river of particles swept away by solar radiation. That part we expect. That part is normal. But what's not normal is the sharp, forward-facing streak pointing outward from the nucleus. It breaks the symmetry, it cuts across the image like a blade of light. And in earlier captures, this streak was barely visible, faint like a ghost. But here it's pronounced, structured, intentional. This single image wasn't snapped in a second. It took 57 separate exposures, each exactly 60 seconds long. Nearly an hour staring into the dark with a ZWO ASI 533MC Pro camera attached to an ASCAR 71F telescope. Every minute captured, stacked, aligned, calibrated, just to make that forward-facing jet reveal itself. When you see the original post, you can tell immediately this wasn't created in a sterile laboratory. You can see the sky glow, the star field, the imperfections of real-world tracking, real equipment, real atmosphere, real photons traveling for no one knows how long before landing on that sensor. But the important part is this. The jet doesn't look chaotic. It looks focused. And interstellar objects are not supposed to behave with this kind of clarity. Now comes the darker part. This raw telescope frame looks like nothing. Lines, streaks, blotches. To most people, it's noise. But that dark circle in the center, barely visible, that's 3I Atlas. And after heavy processing, everything changes. Rotational gradient filters, Larsen-Sechenina processing, unsharp masks, contrast extraction, these are the same techniques astronomers use when they want to peel away the coma and see what hides beneath. And underneath it all, a tiny, stubborn point of light refuses to smear. It stays centered. It stays sharp. It stays real. That may very well be the nucleus. Frame after frame, no matter how the stars streak, no matter how the noise moves, the core stays. It doesn't drift with the background. It doesn't blend with the artifacts. It stays locked to the object, frame to frame, night to night. That consistency matters. Scientists aren't calling it confirmed. They're careful with their words. They say, may show, because real science doesn't jump. Real science waits. But when multiple independently processed frames show the same unmoving point, evidence starts whispering louder than speculation. And that whisper is saying, we may be looking at the exposed heart of a visitor that was born around another star. But 3I Atlas is only half the story tonight. Because now we shift to something bigger, something older, something so large that calling it a comet feels almost disrespectful. This is C2014 UN-27, known by a quieter name, Bernardini Bernstein. And if 3I Atlas is a mystery, this thing is a cosmic leviathan. Look at it. Look at the comparison. On the left, a real telescope image, blurred but unmistakable. In the middle, the coma model that scientists constructed. On the right, the isolated nucleus stripped from the glow around it. Current estimates put its diameter at around 150 kilometers. To put that into perspective, Mount Everest is 8.8 kilometers tall. This object is 17 times larger than that across. It's one of the largest comet-like bodies ever observed in human history. And despite its size, It behaves like something that shouldn't exist at all. Because it's already active. Jets, outgassing, volatile particles streaming out, and it's doing all of that while sitting far beyond Saturn. Far beyond where any normal comet would wake up. It's releasing carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, chemical breath from a world that has never been warmed by the sun before. Right now it's near the orbit of Uranus, and it's drifting inward, slowly, but here's the strangest part of all. At its closest approach, it won't even enter Saturn's orbit. Its perihelion is around 11.95 astronomical units, a safe and distant loop. It refuses to fall into the inner solar system like a typical comet. It's like a giant that doesn't want to be seen up close. And that means its material is untouched, ancient, primeval, older than our species, our moon, maybe even older than some of our earliest solar formations. And because of that untouched interior, the slightest warmth could trigger unpredictable, massive activity. It could stay quiet, or it could erupt in ways we have never witnessed before. Jets the size of cities, outbursts that reshape its orbit, non-gravitational acceleration, brightness spikes, fragmentation. When an object this large wakes up, it doesn't whisper, it roars. Bernardini-Bernstein is officially the second largest comet-like object ever seen, but unofficially, it might be something even stranger. Something we don't have a proper category for yet. So I'll ask you this. Does 3I Atlas feel like a simple interstellar wanderer to you? Or is it something more? Something with intention in the way it moves? And what is UN-27 truly? A comet? A fossil of the early solar system? Or something we haven't even begun to imagine? Tell me your thoughts below. I read every one.